Let's talk, guys. Welcome back to the Chelsea Godfather channel. Let's chat. Let's chat real quick about three players joined to the hip. And you're asking, what are these three players? Christopher Nkunku, Xavi Simons, and FERMIN Lopez. And obviously, the obvious question is, how? What? I mean, where are we and how did we get here? Well, let's start with Christopher Nkunku. Done deal. Done deal. He's in Milan as we speak to close on the deal. I believe it's about 35 to 40 million euro deal. With add-ons included in the deal, and we already know about this player. Christo, he's a player that's done great things for us. He has helped this club to win two trophies last season, the Conference League trophy and also the Club World Cup, where even though he only scored one goal in the Club World Cup, that one goal was a massive goal that helped us to basically eliminate Benfica in the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup, and fortunately, he's a player that just has not been able to fit into Maresca's idea of football. Certainly, he's a talented forward slash 10. He's a forward almost like second striker slash 10, but he doesn't quite fit in the way that Chelsea plays, and so therefore he found himself on the outside, looking in. Obviously, his wages also are fairly high, and so we've basically put him on the sale list, and part of again him being on the sale list is that we actually do needed. We actually did need to free up his space in order to add in a player like Xavi Simons to our squad, in order to comply with UEFA's FFP mandate. And so these two players have been joined by the hip. These two players, I know Chelsea fans, even me or myself, were like, this thing is taking too long. This Xavi Simons deal is taking too long. But the reality is you can't get one without offloading the other. And as fate would have it, we just finally were able to offload Nkunku last night after almost 2 months of basically putting Simons on hold. He was literally holding the phone on the other line. He's been on hold with a phone in his hand for like 2 months, and so obviously, right, the player is anxious, right? Simons is anxious, as one can imagine, right? And as it turns out, he is currently in London right now. His club, RB Leipzig, has released him, giving him a 2-day window, 48 hours to go to London and try and get this deal done. If he doesn't get the deal done in 48 hours, then the plan for Leipzig is to include him in their game day squad for the game coming up this weekend. So the 48-hour deadline, really, I think it ends tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, for better or worse, either Simons is going to be holding a blue shirt, or he's going to be holding a Tottenham shirt, because that's the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that Spurs has jumped in at the final minute of this window, and trying to literally hijack this player from Chelsea, and so they have indicated a willingness to pay Leipzig's 70 million euro asking price, which I believe it equates to roughly around 60 million pounds. Chelsea is not willing to pay that amount for Simons, and notwithstanding that Simons has made it clear that he wants Chelsea. He's been waiting for Chelsea. He wants Chelsea. Personal terms have been agreed between Simons and Chelsea, but all of that means nothing if both Chelsea and Leipzig are not able to reach an agreement on the transfer fee. And so, in my own view, in an effort not to be boxed in to Leipzig's 70 million euro demand. We being Chelsea, we've looked into Plan B, and that's where the third player, who is tied to the hip of these other two players, in the name of FERMIN LOPEZ, comes into the scene. He comes onto the scene because we need a player. We need another attacking player from the central area of the pitch that can help to unlock these crazy low blocks that you're going to be seeing week in, week out in England. And if Chelsea is not able to get Simons, then there has to be some kind of backup plan. And as it turns out, that backup plan appears to be none other than FERMIN Lopez. His club Barker appears to be willing to sell him somewhere in the region of 60 million plus euros, which is not really too far from Simons 70 million euro. I don't know whether it's 60 plus being 62, 63, 65. Even if it's 65 million euros, it's only roughly around 5 million euro difference between FERMIN LOPEZ and Xavi Simons, which, right, for me as a fan, just watching this develop over the last two months, it wouldn't make sense that we would forego the opportunity to sign Xavi Simons over an extra 5 million euros, which is roughly around 3 million pounds. I'm just going to assume that the worst case deal for Lopez is 65 million euros. But that being said, there already has been some contact. So this is not just a matter of Plan B, leverage and so on and so forth. There has been, based on reports by Ben, Jacobs, there's been contacts from Chelsea to FERMIN, Lopez. From Maresca has even talked to Lopez, and it appears. If they're actually talking to the player, then there's a reasonable chance the player is listening. Right, because you don't pick up the phone if you don't want to listen to what the other person has to say. You just, right, we know when we don't want to talk, we're not going to answer. We'll just look at the caller ID and we'll act as if we're not home. So if they're actually talking as it appears that they are, then there's a fairly reasonable chance that if Leipzig does not play ball in terms of their transfer fee, then Chelsea's just going to move on. We have seen this before. Like Chelsea, this board, they'll move on. They're not going to just, if they'll say, listen, this is our price. If you don't want it, then we're just going to move on to the next option, and that's exactly what happened their season when we ended up with Palmer. Like we weren't able to reach an agreement with Michael or Lise, and we moved on and we got Palmer. The same thing happened with Ugarte. We weren't able to reach an agreement with Ugarte, and with regards to his personal terms, and we moved on, to Caicedo, right? So, I mean, as a fan, like I just have faith. I have faith that whatever that our board feels is the best way to move forward and to handle this in a situation is most likely going to be what's in the best interest of Chelsea, whether it be us getting Xavi Simons or moving on to our next option, which would be Fermin Lopez. Again, as I mentioned in a prior video, both players are similar in terms of their stats, what they bring to the table, how they can help your attack in terms of goals, in terms of assists. They are both literally the same size. One is 5'9", the other one is 5'10", right? They both got trained in La Masia. So, like, right, it's either, I mean, this is almost like a clone, if you want to, put it that way. And so, for me, as long as we're able to get one, like if we end up missing out on both, well, then that's where the issue is gonna lie. But if we're able to get at least one, if we either get Xavi, if we're not able to get Xavi, and he ends up in Spurs, then we should make sure that we get Lopez from Barcelona. And either way, we're going to be fine. That's how I feel. How do you guys feel? Please like this video, share this video, and leave your comments below. God bless you guys. Peace.